one issue was they still loved their parents. So whatever was happening, whatever the parents had done to be in this situation, they still loved them, and they wanted to have a family. So I was so inspired by that. And they also had very specific issues that they brought to me. And I wanted them to know that I cared enough, that it was important to me to be a legislator that would be willing to address their issues as well as anybody else who may contribute to a campaign, you know what I mean. These young people should be part of what guides us as lawmakers to do something for them. So I was excited, and I came away with 3 ideas. One of them, Raymond said how he was so traumatized when police come in the middle of the night or whenever, the kids are in the room or in the house, and they totally disregard the fact that though this is someone that they are arresting, there are children in that home, and that the children were not part of whatever happened. So we have to try and protect them from the violence that is part of an arrest. So I have a bill. Now this is an action conference, I was told last night. Yes. It was made very clear. Yes. You want to action. So I've tried to do my part, but I can't do it without the assistance of the people. And especially, I'm looking for the engagement of other young people. So we put this not just to leave for you copies of the bills, because that's one thing, but we have a little petition. So, I will wave this around. I will have contact information, and I can say to you, the bill is on committee agenda. Please write so-and-so. Please call so-and-so and push for this bill. Push for Raymond's bill. Push for whichever bill. And so it's an organizing tool. So yes, we want to change the law, but we also want to have an organized movement around these issues and these children. So Raymond's bill is Senate Bill 6043, and it is the child-sensitive arrest bill. And by the way, we don't have, each of these bills has a sponsor in the Assembly as well. So it's not just my bill, but we have bills of sponsors in the Assembly. And it would require the superintendent, in consultation with the Office of Children and Family Services and the Division of Criminal Justice Services, to establish, maintain, and disseminate, no, wait a minute, I'm reading the wrong bill. This is it. Yeah, no, this is child-sensitive arrest. Regarding child-sensitive arrest practices, such policies and procedures shall ensure the identification and safety of a child less than 18 years of old when such child's parents, guardian, or other persons legally charged with the care or custody of that child is arrested. That is the Raymond's bill. So please support us. I have 2 additional pieces of legislation which are very, very simple. And you know, Raymond asked how many people would be impacted by this. This would change the state law, which means that in every arrest, everywhere in the state of New York, this law would protect that. It's not just is let me talk about Ashley's bill. Ashley's dad, I happened to have met Ashley's dad after I met her, which is really what was a wonderful experience. But Ashley's dad when she goes to visit him, she very often is confronted with problems related to the rules and regulations of visitors as it relates to visitation. And it was so upsetting to her that on occasion she had gotten to the facility and she couldn't even go in to visit him because there was some rule that she was not aware of, or the family was not aware of, and they were turned away. And so it was obviously a simple thing that needs to happen as it relates to the Department of Corrections, and that is each facility should have posted not just a general rule and regulation for the whole department, but each facility, because on some days in facilities things change very quickly and the family is not aware of any changes. And they go thinking they're going to be able to visit their loved one, and they can't get in. So this would just require that we post and publicize any changes and regulations related to each facility each day so that families know exactly what to expect when they get to a facility. That is Ashley's bill. That's the issue that she brought to me. Remember Ashley? Okay, Ashley. And the last one is April's bill is very, very interesting. April said to me, both my parents are incarcerated. Beautiful child. She's being raised by her grandparents. And by the way, the fact that we have so many of these children, these young people who are raised by their grandparents, the state is now looking at developing housing that targets them. You know, most of the housing for the elderly strictly forbids young people from being there. But we've now realized that that's a ridiculous policy because we have so many grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. So April happens to live in one of those developments, and I was happy because it was the first time that I knew that we were actually doing something right in the state that's doing housing that targets grandparents who are raising their children. She said both parents are incarcerated. They are closer to each other than they are to me. It's an 8 or 9 hour drive. I have no way of getting there to see either of my parents. But they are close in proximity. So we came up with a proximity bill, which simply would require that Department of Corrections, when they make the decision as to where to place people, which facility, they would consider if there are children, if there's family members that need to be able to get to visit them, that be part of the consideration as to which facility that they go to. We have so many instances where women in particular from downstate get sent all the way across the state as opposed to being placed close enough so that they can be visited within an hour on a local bus. So those 3 pieces of legislation came from young people like here. I've been taking some notes for some other ideas, so we will continue to talk about that. But I just want to say that we must never underestimate the power of the voice of young people. And for me as an adult and for us in this room, and I really am so happy to see so many people here today to listen to them, that they are our inspiration, and yes, we love them, and yes, they're going to pay our Social Security someday. You know, I always remind them of that. But I think that we listen, to learn, and to try to be guided by the young people in our community. So thank you and thank you. Would you pick up some in the back, if you will, and I would appreciate any support. We will be pushing this. It may take a while, more than one session, more than 1 year, but we are committed to it. And I especially want, if you work with young people, please get them involved in this legislative initiative, because it's their opportunity to do something for themselves, and that's power, and I want them to have it. So thank you.